Welcome to Egg Foo. What? The first and only podcast about people eating stuff. I'm Mike Lisk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of Egg Foo. What? Hey, let's practice one where you say it, Egg Foo one. I do like a cool. Do your intro.
Egg Foo. What?
Well, I mean, do it from the, say I'm Mike Lisk.
Oh,
Welcome to Egg Foo what?
I don't want to. Here we go. Welcome to Egg Foo. What?
All right, fuck. You're right. That sucks. That was my week practicing that.
Really? You thought that was going to be a game changer?
I had some people come in and rehearse it with me. Did some testing.
A little hand gesture, huh?
I can think of a hand gesture right now. I'm thinking of.
All right. Well,
sorry for trying to bring a little, more festivities.
Yeah, you tried. I'll give you credit for that.
Thanks, buddy.
Might as well get to the big news. It's all over social media. The Tim box set. Now, I wasn't sure if you had gotten it. You weighed in with a couple hot takes on Twitter. And
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did get it.
Okay. And you've listened to it? Because I have a lot
Not only did I listen to the box set, I went back, the original album.
I was back when they made music, bro.
Guess what? Still sounds good.
Yes.
Never sounded bad to me.
Thank you.
I bought this album. I think I've bought it 5 times now. I can't find the original. I'm pretty sure I have the original first issue of the CD.
Mm-hmm.
And then this came out in 2008.
What's on that? Like, is anything extra on that? Like,
there is.
I didn't even notice it, really.
Yeah, bonus material. It's got the Can't Hardly Wait. What's it called? Outtake acoustic. Nowhere Is My Home. Another outtake of Can't Hardly Wait. Electric. Kiss Me on the Bus, I believe, is the same sort of rockin' demo that's on the bonus tracks on the box set. Waitress in the Sky, alternate version. Here comes a regular alternate version. So you had, 6 bonus tracks on the expanded, remastered. It was remastered.
Mm-hmm.
So is this different? I guess it's different than the remaster on the box set.
Yeah, the box set is totally different.
This has been remastered 2 times, 3 times. I can't keep up. It's getting confusing.
I mean, I forgot they remastered it back then, and back then they didn't. Oh, there you go. They talk about this album as if it was
dropped. Here's the box set.
That's the box set. Let's see the side. That looks nice.
Now now you got it, right?
No.
Oh, you haven't gotten it.
I'm having a hard time. I told you before, for these things, I want them to be vinyl. I'm not a vinyl snob. I'm not an audiophile, but for these celebrations, for these albums we love, I want it to be a big physical album.
There's an album in here.
I know that. I want the whole thing.
So it's actually sized like a record, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's box sets are, every box set seems to have its own size. It's the recording industry never got together. Let's have one size for box sets. So good luck finding shelves in something where you can store them, because everyone's different size.
Good luck, losers.
But here's the thing. So this is it. It feels like a record. When I got it, I'm like, oh, this is cool. It's like a record. So I'm carrying it around. Where would you suspect the record to come out of?
Your left?
Yeah, the right side of the record, right? When you're looking at it, it's the right side, just like every record, right?
Listeners, he is holding up the replacements, new reissue of Tim.
Yeah. So you're saying it should come out on this side, like a
Right?
record,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I'm thinking, sort of instinctually. I'm thinking, oh, the record's gonna be over here like a record. No. Guess where it comes out of? You open it up.
Right.
You open it up thus.
Right.
You got the 4 CDs on the right. You've got right here,
Oh, pulls up.
and it pulls up. Not only does it pull up, when it came, the open edge
Oh, no, sir.
was facing up. So in like the
No,
first
sir.
10 minutes of me handling this thing, the record almost went flying on the floor. So that's a warning to everybody. I haven't seen anybody on social media talking about the packaging, but a
Good
little
point.
warning to people out there who might get fooled, and next thing you know, their record's on the floor.
So what are your thoughts about after listening to it?
My thoughts are both the new mix CD and the new mix album sound great. It sounds great. There is a fuller, I guess that's my only description I can come up with. It's a fuller sound. I'm not hearing things I never heard of before. It's not like that for me. You're
Hold My
hearing
Life
stuff
right away. Hold My Life has these guitars in it, and I'm like, what? Where do these? Do we need these?
Well, I'm not
But
a
you're right.
headphone.
It does. If I didn't have 40 years of loving this album, it sounds amazing. But it's like, and plus they talk about this, and I'm sorry I cut you off, but I just want to say this. They talk about this album like it was dumped in chicken guts and left behind a barn for years.
Yeah, no,
like, just unlistenable. Like, oh my God. I'm like, well, people loved it for decades. To your point, they remastered it, 2009, and like
2008.
Discovered it's the worst sounding recording in the history of Earth.
Yeah, I'm trying to recollect, and maybe it's because social media wasn't up and running back then. 2008. I mean, was Facebook or any of that stuff just happening? Maybe.
Yeah.
But there didn't seem to be a major discussion about, oh, they didn't get the remastering right again. How many times did they get it wrong? So I don't remember a big hullabaloo in 2008 when everybody was happy. Oh, we're getting some bonus tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded good to me, and I got some bonus tracks.
And plus, like, what is Paul Westerberg thinking? Like, because he's the one that led this charge. Like, every music snob / nerd I've heard bitching about the production, I've always had a suspicion they're kind of repeating it because that's what Westerberg said. But I'm like, well, if he knew it was garbage, what are you doing? Why leave the studio? What are you doing?
Well, no, I don't know that it's Westerberg is the one who's the.
No, he's always bitched about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, I didn't remember that part of it.
It's like, you're Paul Westerberg within the replacements. You're the king. If you can do something about it.
Yeah.
Stop putting out shitty albums that nobody cares about. And if you want to tinker with Tim, which is like, oh my God, it was recorded with inside of an elephant's trunk. It was awful. So
and yet people loved it still. Yeah.
Yeah. So
somehow people found a way to enjoy it, even
somehow
though it's
triumphed over the horrible.
It was dragged through the gutter. But it, I haven't listened to it in a while, and so of course I'm focused on the record again. And I put up a little tweet about how superior the second side is to the first side. Can we agree on that one?
That's always been the case.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm just sort of, like I said, I mean, we haven't had a discussion like this for a while, so I figured we get into it.
I mean, I always thought they backfilled their albums. I always thought the second sides of their records are always better than the first.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's an interesting theory.
Certainly Let It Be, Tim, Pleased to Meet Me. I think No Tell a Soul too. you know, the big three plus Stone Temple Soul. It seemed obvious to me that they stacked the, you know, which I would do too. You know, you want a big finish.
A big finish, right?
Yeah.
You want a big finish rather than the big start.
Yeah, they were the opposite of Husker Du, who would just dump whatever songs they had floating around in the junk drawer at the end of their albums. I don't know if that occurred to Westerberg and that's why he did it, but they were polar opposites in that.
So let's go down track by track.
All right.
Hold My Life, great song.
Great song.
I
feel like that's getting some love now. I've always thought that was an overlooked. I never heard anybody mention that song.
I mean, right? I guess I should know. Were there actual singles from this album? Did they put out singles?
Kiss Me on the Bus. I have that. I have that 12 inch.
Really? They put that out as a single?
That was a big one. That's another. That always annoyed me. I'm like, all the great songs on Tim, and that's what they. And it's always like, you always hear somebody say, "Well, they thought it was the most radio friendly at the time," and I'm like, "Well, how about putting out with your best song at the time or whatever?" You know.
Right.
It's not like you don't have any hits to begin with. Let's not act like you're cracking the algorithm. Put out what you think is great. You want your fans to hear and go from there. So I don't know if there was even a second single. I mean, what does it tell you when your single is Kiss Me on the Bus and then you go on Saturday Night Live and the first song you play is Bastards Are Young?
Yeah.
So bomb dropped, Mike.
Yeah. So Hold My Life, great.
Super Slice.
Super Slice. I'll buy sort of a rockin' filler, you know, just kind of like, yeah, you're not gonna hit them with two great ones right in a row.
That would be on my list of, because the one thing I have always been pissed off with Tim is, of course, like anybody, I'm always annoyed. Nowhere's My Home and Can't Hardly Wait didn't make it on. Imagine how good this album would be if I'll Buy and Dose of Thunder, or just take off Dose of Thunder and put those two on. Would this be literally the best album of all time?
It would it would definitely be an improvement. Yeah, Kiss Me on the Bus, good song.
I never loved that as much as most people. Like, it's fine.
It's good. Yeah, I'm not saying it's as good as Hold My Life.
But I've never once in my life specifically said, "Oh, let me hear Waitress in the Sky." Never. When it comes on, I like it, but I've never, like, Hold My Life is a
yeah.
That's what I was like.
But then we come to which you've already alluded to, the clunker on the record, Dose of Thunder. Now, is that the closest they've ever come to putting out a heavy metal single? I mean, is it supposed to be like a heavy metal parody? I mean, and we're not getting a joke if we think it sounds like heavy metal.
I don't know. I guess at that point he was still worried that he'd be seen as soft or something. So you got to stick in some dumb metal song. Even as a 15-year-old or whatever, 14-year-old, I got that. It was a fast forward for me in the car. So.
Would you have the cassette?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The LP, the cassette, the CD. I'll probably have this.
Yeah.
And
then we come to Waitress in the Sky, which, I don't think this song is really aging very well. It's a little mean-spirited, no? I mean,
yeah.
They're stewardesses. They're working,
But the story was always that it was his sister, right? Isn't that the story?
Oh, is that what I didn't even know there was background to it. Okay, yeah. Okay, vaguely I remember that story now.
I mean, if you would crack a book, like I begged you to.
It's been a while since I read the book. I read the book. Trouble Boys by Bob Muir. And he's also in charge of the whole box set. I mean, he sort of orchestrated.
He's the king of all of those things now.
Well, this is more involved than normal. Yeah. Usually he writes the liner notes, but in this case, he was sort of a producer. He was a producer on this. I mean, the liner notes, I don't even have them here handy. They're extensive.
Yeah, I bet.
I've got them up on my in my bedroom because it's going to take a couple nights to read. But they're extensive. So yeah, great job there.
The most interesting thing about him is, as of last week, he follows me on Twitter.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Was he following you before Egg Foo what?
No.
Oh, okay.
Although it's funny, he follows me, but not Egg Foo what.
Well, maybe we'll we'll get him with
Or
our
maybe I'm wrong.
promotion.
Maybe I'm
We'll get
wrong.
him tomorrow with our promotion of the review of
Oh,
the box.
as soon
Yeah.
as he hears this, oh,
But anyway, and also he wrote the book Trouble Boys. Did I mention that?
great book.
Yeah, great
Depressing,
book.
but great. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. More trauma that I was unaware of.
If you want to read a book that will make you hate your heroes,
Mhm.
read Trouble Boys.
Well, I don't
Like
know
a
if I
Metallica
hate
fan
them.
watching their documentary.
I don't know if I hate them. I
Well, yeah,
kind
not
of
hate, but
feel
kind of be like,
sorry
well,
for them that they had kind of terrible childhood
right.
and yeah, abuse and
No,
stuff. Yeah,
I know I'm being facetious, but
yeah, yeah.
it does shed away some of that romantic, like, oh, they just couldn't get a break, or
Yeah. Okay, so Swinging Party, it finishes strong. That's a great song.
I feel like that one, I guess, because what's it, Lord did a cover of that. That's why if you look on Spotify, it's their biggest song.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. This is news to me.
I think that Lord, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I know who you're
I
talking about.
think she did a
One of
cover of it.
these one name people.
Yeah.
Huge singer.
Yeah.
Where's she from? New Zealand or Australia, one or the other?
I have no clue.
She's from down under.
Yeah, I've always loved that song, and it's nice to see it getting more appreciated. So
maybe that'll be Nick Lowe toiled away for so many years and then happened to have his one of his songs appear on the soundtrack to The Bodyguard.
there you go.
And he was set for life.
Ka-ching.
So maybe how many millions of listens do they have? Well, I can look at this now that you
Let me ask you
mentioned
something about that real quick.
it.
How would you like to be Elvis Costello, who not only is one of the most successful songwriters? I'm not a huge Elvis Costello fan. Maybe you are. I like him fine, whatever. Not only is one of the most successful songwriters of the last half century, but you kind of lean into the whole, in terms of like, he's more of an intellectual lyric guy, like that kind of thing. I think he would think of himself as a real writer,
Yeah.
How many people, if you walk down the street, 100 people ask what their favorite Elvis Costello song would say Peace, Love, and Understanding. And it's the one song he didn't write, but he has to play it every night. It's probably the closer.
Yeah.
It's the one where all the grandmas, the kids, they all get up and lose their mind. And he's sitting and going, I wrote 9,000 songs, and I got to play the Niccolo one. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it must hurt, but it is on a very popular album.
I understand there's worse problems.
Yeah. But okay, Swinging Party, Lord, singular. How come it's not telling me how many plays? Usually
that might have changed since this came out, but last time I checked, it's Swinging Party.
Yeah, no, I see it here, but it's not. What the hell?
All right, we're losing the crowd, Mike. Rein him back in.
This is why I don't like to jump online. But anyway, I'll find out.
Then we flip the record over.
And then we flip it over, and then we get another killer song right off the bat. Bastards of Young.
Probably
great track. What's that?
Probably my favorite Replacement song.
I think when I first got the album, it probably was my favorite. But over time, I've discovered a new favorite.
Let's hear it.
And we're getting to it. Let's
Did he say Lay It Down, Clown?
No. The next song is Lay It Down, Clown, which is a throwaway, but a rocking throwaway, right?
At least it rocks in a smooth, fun way. Unlike Dose of Thunder, which is like,
oh no, no. I mean, I say it's like an improvement over I'll Buy. I mean, Dose of Thunder, I just throw out. It's
Dose
like
of Thunder is terrible. This is
that's the worst song on the album.
I mean, who's there when Westberg was like, "Hey, Paul, we got one more slot. You want to go with Nowhere Is My Home, Can't Hardly Wait, or Dose of Thunder?" Dose of Thunder, great, got
it. I guess maybe the other guys weren't around to maybe throw in their 2 cents, but
or maybe they were and they were they were pissed at him. They said, yeah, Dose of Thunder instead of the other two. Mess with them.
Yeah, we'll stick them. Yeah, let's put Dose
And maybe
of
that's why
Thunder
Brian
on.
Epstein gave away Strawberry Fields and Penny
Uh-huh.
Lane. He's like,
And then I think my next song is my favorite, Left of the Dial.
Left of the Dial, yeah.
And got to be, I don't know, top 3, top 5 for you, Left of the Dial.
I'd say, and I'll be honest, for a song I've loved so long, that somehow gets even better over the years.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of, I always liked it. I'm not saying I didn't like it at one time.
Right.
But when I play it now, it's like, there it is, you know.
Yeah.
It
There's
just
something
soars.
about
It soars, you know.
Yeah. The one of the best things about Westerberg, he has that gift of instant poignancy.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the first time you hear something, it just has a poignant sound to it. Like Color Me Impressed has that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Same thing with Left of the Dial. It just has this instant poignancy that's heartbreaking. And I will say my favorite moment in any replacement song is Left of the Dial coming out of the instrumental break when he slides back into that riff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll run through a fucking wall.
And the next song is not too shabby either, right? Little Mascara.
That's a great one.
Strong song.
That's whereas Left of the Dial is an A+, Little Mascara is an A.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Very happy with that song.
And then you know, and not talk about poignancy. The final, Here Comes a Regular. I guess that's the most poignant.
But he has a gift of making rockers poignant.
Mm-hmm.
Like Here Comes a Regular was built to be poignant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I mean that's another one. That's in my top 5.
Yeah.
You know, so 3 of my favorite replacement songs are probably in my top 5. Whole My Life is right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Yet this was an unrecognizable to sound and ears piece of garbage that languaged for 40 years.
Nobody knew.
Nobody
knew they had to get that garbage off of it. We'll clean it up with a little, you know.
I mean, it's like when I first put on glasses and I was like, oh my God, trees have leaves.
When are you going to start wearing those glasses regularly? I've never understood that aspect of your, you know, refusal to wear glasses. You must be blind. I saw you struggling when we were in California.
You didn't see anything.
I saw it. I'm like,
you didn't see a damn thing.
Put your glasses on, Greg. It's just me. It's just
220.
Me.
Stays in room 220.
Did you even have your glasses with you?
The only time I need glasses if I'm driving, which I haven't done in 10 years and won't probably ever do again. God willing.
Why? What? Yeah. What's with the driving too? What? I mean,
what's that?
You don't want to drive again?
Why do people love driving? I don't understand. I've never, even as I was maybe the only teenage boy in America who was thrilled. Now, number one, I had a shitty car, as you can imagine. My girlfriend had a brand new Grand Am. So I'd go over to pick her up and she'd be like, let's take my car. Well, that's not that's stupid actually, because I would still drive. I don't understand why people love driving. It's more responsibility.
Well, for one thing, I mean, where I am, and I think you're somewhat in a rural area now as well. I mean, yeah, in Williamsburg, you don't need a car. I get it. I didn't really need a car in Bayonne.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm lucky that my time of not liking to drive synced up perfectly with Uber and stuff like that.
Well, okay. I mean, have you done yearly tallies? I mean, how much are you spending on Uber that maybe it's worth it to buy a car, get a car, lease a car? I've done the math. It's different things to do. You know, you could lease a car. Even at my most highest use of Uber, it was still at the most comparable to buying a car. So then why have that responsibility? Well, it frees you up. Plus, you know, I was going to get into this, but this is a good segue. What is your problem with Uber? I saw you complaining about Uber. Well, so here we go. Right, you just made a case for Uber, and now we're going to go into what you hate about Uber.
Theoretically, Uber is a great thing for people like me. But first of all, I'm not exaggerating. I've probably taken over the last 10 years, I'm going to say 2,000 Ubers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, let's say 1,500 to be, no, I'm going to say 2,000. Not once have they ever said, hey, you know what? Thanks for here's a freebie. Not once.
Yeah.
And then before I finally started taking the metro here, 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like clockwork, I'd call an Uber at 5 o'clock. And even me, the most loyal customer in the world, they started fucking with me. Like each time it would be cranked up a little bit, a little more money, a little more. Like, let's see how much this incredibly loyal customer will pay. So that pissed me off. And then, but then in the last couple of weeks between California and my back has been hurting, so I don't want to mess with the metro. Now they seem to have this new thing where it used to be call the Uber. If it took 4 or 5 minutes, I'd get annoyed. But even you can't get too annoyed, but I would notice it if it was like 6 minutes.
You're getting annoyed at 6 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I live in a city. I mean, I'm used to like, it should be pretty,
No, I get it, but I mean, 6 minutes is not like a long wait.
It's not.
I mean, if you took a bus or, a train, that's a good timing,
Sure.
Waiting 6 minutes.
But now they seem to have this thing where I go, boop, look, and it's looking for a drive. Because even if it was wait for 6 minutes, you'd know that immediately. It'd be Uber, and they might like, boop, 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 boop. Okay, Mike List is going to pick you up in 6 minutes in a horse and buggy. Great.
Right.
Now it's like calling Uber, boop, and then it's like, searching for a driver. Searching. This goes on for like a minute or two, and then guess what pops up?
A whole minute.
Then guess what pops up? Gee, this is taking a long time, but for another $30, we can boost you up to priority.
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't have that experience. I did Uber for the first time in California, and for the most part, it was a good experience. I had one driver who may have been just learning how to drive the night. She gave me a ride. Did not speak English, so communication was difficult. I had to use sort of hand signals to guide her to drive a little, and maybe the GPS, which was not in English, would come on.
This sounds like a terrible experience. What are you talking about?
It was a terrible experience, but I managed to get home somehow. I mean, the woman was fine. I have nothing against this young lady trying to earn a living in a new country, probably, but
gracious of you.
I mean, there was, like I said, I was getting the vibe that this may have been her first time behind the wheel, which you don't want to have that vibe. Get in the car.
Yeah, because now you get drivers, you'll see they're like, oh, this is his 24,007th ride. So yeah, if I see one where it's like, oh, this is Mike's 6th ride, I'm like, ooh.
Well, the weird thing about this happened when this was actually sort of gifted to me. One of my LA guides, my credit card decided to shut me down after a day of using the credit card in California. They suddenly noticed that, oh, this guy's usually in New Jersey, now he's in California.
Yeah,
this must be fraud.
Only for the last 61 years.
So they shut me down.
Yeah. And
so, I was unable to get that Uber ride. And unfortunately, that Uber ride was the worst one I had. Everyone else was okay. I think I talked about the woman who I thought may have had mace underneath her sweater on her lap.
You should.
Had me in a state of fear for a little bit, But no, otherwise it was a good experience. But I mean, as a lifelong, I mean, pretty much bus and path and train guy, I mean, 6 minutes and you're complaining.
Well, yeah, but it used to take a month to cross the ocean. Should I bitch when the plane takes 6.5 hours? Because this seems like a policy now, and it's like, why would you do that to me? Do it to some new sucker. All you've done is make me, who has pumped thousands of dollars into your coffers, be more pissed to say, fuck you. What? Already it was $60 to begin with. It's a $60 trip. Not enough. They want to make me wait. wait. I got back at them. I finally fucking canceled. And I was like, fuck this, I'll start again. And whatever happened, $20 cheaper. But they still did this fucking, it took about 15 minutes.
Here's a little advice, and I'm not an authority by any means.
Then please,
but
yes.
but you're ascribing to this new entity. It's corporate. It's a corporate taxi cab company, right?
It's
corporate. It's just you're just a number to them. You know, there's no loyalty. I mean, in Bayonne,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, why would you even think there's loyalty? This is something new. This isn't
point,
like
I don't need at this point. I don't need loyalty. At this point, how about just not fucking hold me hostage for 20 minutes? You could squeeze another $30 out of the already generous amount of money I'm giving you.
Well, people have been complaining because I guess this was the first year Uber made money. They've been working at a loss for a number of years. And so, yeah, people have noticed that the prices are going up. So, yeah, they sort of lured you in. They've got all these customers. They've got this base, right? Everybody's got the app on their phone. And now you're just the suckers. And they're going to reel you in. You know, when I was in Bayonne, I tried to stay loyal to the local cab companies. There were about 3 of them. I got to know drivers. You know, I would get drivers regularly. You know, some of them were customers at the bars I worked at. And so I'd ask for different people. It was the personal touch. You're not going to get that with Uber. Uber is designed
for the personal touch. I'm just asking not to get screwed.
I think you think that they care. They don't care.
I'm literally saying the opposite. I'm saying they don't care. That's why they're trying to fuck me.
Yeah. But you feel there's still this sense that they owe you a freebie. They're not going to give you a freebie.
Let's move on from that. I don't care about that. I think it's bullshit. I think it's bad business. But fine. This whole new thing of like, first of all, part of your whole thing is, hey, we're going to get you where you're going quick.
Right.
Or as quick as possible. I understand if you live out in bumfuck, it's going to take a little longer, but it's quick. But with this whole, let's take a while. And then all of a sudden, it's like, gee, we're having trouble finding you a driver. Oh, but if you pay $30, all of a sudden Jeremy is going to pop up a block away. It's just.
But aren't the drivers more competitive too? Because they set it up. It's not cooperative for the drivers. You know, they're out to make the most. They're out to make the most money they can make. So if they accept you, and then like maybe 30 seconds later they see another pop up who they're going to make more money. Of course, they're going to take that. Which I think
happens, and that's fine. I mean, it's shitty, but okay, if you're Mike Lisk and you, I got to drive this guy, and it's going to be $8, and then I can drive this guy, and it's going to be $20. Okay, I understand. I don't like it. I'll probably bitch about it too. But as a policy to do this whole, let's just scam these motherfuckers, especially, and the normal driver, he doesn't know that I'm a Uber superstar. I should not be the guy they're fucking with. I'm sorry. You're referring to yourself as an Uber superstar. To me, it's just like sort of ludicrous because they don't care how many times you've done the thing. You're just a number. They should care about this. From September through March, I spent about, what was that, 7 months? About $14,000 on Uber. That's just
why you got to get a car.
That's
you're making the best case for getting a car that I've ever heard.
No, that was a temporary thing. It went on longer because I'm lazy, but
$14,000 for 7 months.
So you think that's an estimate? Let's say 10,000, whatever. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a superstar baller, but yeah, maybe not fuck with this guy. And like, have they noticed I've disappeared? And they don't think that's, well, we had this guy.
Nobody is taking notice. It's all an algorithm. It's an algorithm.
They had this guy.
There's no human being monitoring the movements of Greg Wilson.
They should be like, all right, this guy, we had this guy for a cool, let's say $2,000 a month, nice and easy. Why fuck with that? Because since then, after that, I haven't given them a fucking dime until California and here or there. Why would you do that? Here's an easy $2,000 guaranteed. Because I'll be honest, if they hadn't finally pushed me and pissed me off, I probably would have kept doing it because I'm lazy as fuck. Why take away that pretty much guaranteed $2,000 a month? Just, oh, let's squeeze more. Well, are you happy with the zero you've gotten most months since? Is that better than 2,000?
For every guy who drops out, there's a new sucker that comes in.
Sure. Well,
it's like,
if they think great, all right.
You're making an argument for like what I just described, a local taxi service is. A local taxi service would notice, hey, this is a loyal customer. I'm going to pick him up first. So you'll get preference like that. You're dealing with an algorithm. There's no other human being involved. Just, other people on the end of their phone.
I like. That's why I like Uber. But it's a human being that has decided to do this. Oh, well, let's do this whole, we're having trouble. It's going to take 10 minutes. It actually comes up and says, oh, it'll take about 10 minutes to find a driver. Like, what the fuck? That's new.
Have you ever gotten the same
of any of that stuff?
Have you ever gotten the same Uber driver twice?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Really?
I must have.
That's amazing to me.
But I don't know that it is amazing. It can't be true. But I mean, normally, number one, I think I have a medical condition where I can't recognize cars.
Yeah, I'm not good at that either.
I'll start heading out to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Acting like I know where your car is. I can't pick out cars. I just can't.
Yeah.
And then the second I get in, I've got my head down, I'm staring at my phone. So, but the whole point of Uber was the algorithm, the no human, the contactless in-out transaction. You call us, you hit the button, we show up as soon as possible. You get in, drive you get out. We don't have to say a word. It's paid for. It's done. Quick and easy, efficient. You like to call up Tony, the driver, and that's fine. But
so you got exactly what you paid for. So you're expecting some sort of gratitude.
No. Again,
from an algorithm.
Let's move on from that. It's not
okay.
It's how about not invent new ways to piss me off when I've already shoveling buckets of money in your pockets?
Well, that's just corporate America in general. I mean, like I said, they've got a loyal customer, and they've got you. They put out.
You're a bartender.
They put out all the cab companies, so you don't have much of a choice anymore.
Right. You're a bartender. Tell me this: when's the last time you had a loyal customer? He buys a couple of beers, and then you're like, "Chief, I don't know. For Tony's fifth beer, let me double the price. Let me make him wait 10 minutes, see if I can squeeze out another quarter." Did that ever happen?
No, it doesn't happen because I'm a human being. It's a human being. It's not an app on your phone.
Algorithms are set. They're set by human beings to recreate human being, whatever. They're not just computers with minds of their own, with no humans making.
Here's the thing about Uber: they set out to destroy the taxi businesses. They did. They destroyed them. They didn't make any money during those years, but they were thinking down the line.
I feel sorry for the cab drivers in New York and London.
Yeah.
Because those are real. Like, you read about that test.
They're real everywhere. Every town has their services. They may not be like New York or London.
Yes.
But there were guys driving cabs.
It was right before Uber got hot. So when I moved here, the first 6 months, I had to take cabs. Nothing is shittier until Uber than DC cabs. I had no sympathy.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying every taxi driver is a saint, but at least, like I said, in Bayonne, it was big enough to have 3 different cab companies, small enough that I recognized and got to know a few taxi drivers and would ask for particular drivers if they were working, just to sort of give them a nod because they were customers or whatever. I had one driver who was driving me to Jersey City, where I was doing the best show.
Well, braggy.
It was a weekly thing because it just got to be too much. I was driving to the studio and just coming back at 1 a.m, looking for parking in Bayonne is just a nightmare. So I just started cabbing it, and I had a regular driver. And he was a good guy. Unfortunately, passed away. He He went to Bayonne Hospital. He had chest pains. They turned him away. They said, come back in the morning. And he came back the next morning and he died in the hospital. So another wonderful story about our medical industry. You know, there's just so many of those stories, you know, but great guy, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. You get a little more of the human touch with personal drivers, but you know, Uber achieved its goal. It wiped out the cab industry. So now they own it. I mean, Lyft is out there, I guess, competing, but everybody got the app on their phone. I mean, you might want to try Lyft. I mean, my friend swore by it. I think it's still a little cheaper than Uber. So maybe that's the way to go.
I mean, now that I'm not taking it every day, it's not as big. I don't want to say I don't care, but this whole new thing where it's like, oh, it's going to take about 10 minutes to find a car. That's bullshit. And then, oh, but if you want to spend 50% more, we have Jerry waiting around the corner. That's new. And that is total horseshit. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me that is good.
I'm sure they're just feeding you horseshit left and right about what's going on. Just like my story about the plane is held up because it wasn't clean enough. You know, it's like that was a shovel full of horseshit, and I was like, okay, that's what they're telling us. Who am I to question? You know, authority. Who are you to question the operations of Uber? You know?
I guess no one else. I guess no one else is pissed, is upset. So
no, there are. Like I said, I think, you know, I've heard lots of grumbling about prices going up, and so yeah,
like I can even understand just prices naturally going up. It's 2023, prices are up. Who knows what affects this or that? They finally start making money. Okay, whatever. I understand that. It's this whole new bullshit of what I've tried to explain 5 times, and I've wasted my time. But
no,
you are literally the worst person I could have talked about this with. Literally.
Well, that's what I'm here for, Greg. To have polite arguments.
And then I'll tell you what else I hate.
Here we go.
Is every Tuesday we have or Wednesday at 2:00 here at the office we have cookies.
All right.
Something funny?
No, I'm just wondering where this transition. We're going from Uber to cookies. Okay.
Well, I just fucking
it's back into food. Let's get back into food. That's why we're here.
I'll tell you one thing I've always hated. I think you'll agree with. So you go down. Oh, it's 2:00. I'll pop down to the cafeteria. Little group. We go down. I hate when you're in a line, and then somebody kind of sidles in. Oh, what is it? Either they act confused. Oh, cookies. Or they wanted. Oh, hey Jane, it's me. Oh, and then they stand, and then they're in front of you.
Really? Ooh, okay.
No.
Yeah. No.
People were doing that. I hate it most when they do the old, I'm old, I'm just floating. What? Is this a line?
Yeah, I've seen that. Oh, that's a regular move. I see that. Yeah.
I as a man of justice, that drives me fucking insane.
No, I'm a line stickler. You know, I do I don't like, and I actually, when I was flying out of San Francisco, I accidentally became sort of a guy who was going to sidle in. You know, it was the people were starting to line up for the boarding, and what happened was the line diverged, and I didn't realize. I thought there was just these guys sort of standing in a group off to the side, that the line continued in my direction.
Yeah,
but then it seemed more apparent that they were on line. So there was going to be a confrontation where
that's enough. I hate when we have a line, but then they want to start another line. That drives me fucking nuts.
It was purely accidental because the line had been going in my direction previously, and then somehow it diverged to the right, and I was on the left. But this was the flight that ended up getting delayed for 30 minutes. So I did the smart thing. I'm like, I saw where it was heading. I'm like, you know what? Why am I anxious to get on the plane? You know,
let me solve this with my fists. The old way. The way my used to deal with business.
I
At
almost,
least that's
yeah.
an airport where it is kind of kill or be
Mhm.
killed. These are people in an office building. We're going to get cookies. And
Yeah.
you're going to pull this bullshit?
Were there people behind you?
Yes.
How many?
It was early, so not too many people.
All right.
I got there like at 1:59.
Uh-huh.
It was chocolate chip day. So on cookie day,
So,
cookie day. These
so is
people
it
are like, let me
an
see if I
older lady
cookie
just
day.
felt like, as a gentleman, that you wouldn't mind if she just kind of, and her friend was also there. She was chatting with.
Kind of
Okay.
on
Yeah.
cookie day.
Uh-huh.
You can on cookie day.
But you
You
were
can't,
a gentleman. You didn't say anything.
no, I don't say anything. I just
Okay.
bitch about it to you.
Yeah.
On cookie day, you
Yeah.
can't wait another 45 seconds
Uh-huh. Yeah.
for your cookie.
Hmm.
People are the worst.
Now, I almost got into an incident
Blind
with
justice is one of the worst.
in Port Authority. It was one of those late nights
Oh boy.
where, I think it was maybe the last bus back to Bayonne, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, whatever it was. You had to go downstairs to the different level,
Mhm.
which was always just felt like you were in a new level of hell, down in the the basement level of the Port Authority.
Mm.
And if you, I guess you've never been there. I mean, that's a rare occurrence to be in the Port Authority late at night, and everybody's directed downstairs. And then what happens there? That they have a door, right? They, usually in normal circumstances, people wait outside the door, but everybody's antsy because it's 2 or 3 a.m. So they actually go through the door, and then they just mill around in a group. So there's no line, you know. But even in those circumstances, I'm keeping track of who got here first.
Yeah. Oh, I do that. I'll track this guy. I better get there first.
This guy was ahead of me. These people were after me. So yeah. So when the bus finally pulled in, I tried to get in behind the guy who was in front of me. There was another guy there. And it turns out this other guy wasn't even getting on the bus. He was with his lady friend, but he was going to board the bus with her.
That is romantic.
It's very romantic.
Let me tell you something. That couple is still together today.
But then I kind of helped his effort by being this sort of villain trying to break them up. And we got loud. We were yelling at each other.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, you're better. You got, in situations like that, the Jersey comes out in you a little bit, and you'll say something.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm too much of a wuss.
Bayonne did sort of have its influence on me. I wasn't that way until I lived in Bayonne for 30 years. So
yeah.
Plus, you get older and you don't give a damn. There's a little of that involved. But yeah, no, I got into a heated argument with this guy, and then when he's getting off the bus, I felt like a total idiot. I'm like, wait a second, he wasn't even getting on the bus, and he leaves.
How many times do you think he's talked about you over the last how many years?
Well,
this motherfucker.
He's never talked about me.
Girl on the bus.
Yeah, no, it was just some idiot on the bus. But anyway.
These line people. I don't like weird lines, multiple lines.
Yeah.
Because I'll clock who's there. Just do the one line.
Yeah.
We all hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. It'll be over in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did see a friend in a line, and I'm gonna go say, would you not say anything, or would you turn around? Hey, I'm just talking to Tony. I'm not getting the pizza. Right? I would have to acknowledge, like, I'm not doing this.
I'm going to give you a positive spin. I think she sized you up as a gentleman.
Well, it wasn't me. She was a couple of people ahead. I mean, it wasn't like.
Oh, okay.
It's just generally.
So she actually cut in front of another person too, as
well? A couple of people.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Just wandered.
Usually in that situation, you can elicit support. If you say something, then a couple people in front of you will say something, and you can form a little, you
Yeah,
know,
but it's cookie
a
time,
group.
Mike. I don't want to get people upset at cookie time. These people work hard all week.
Well, like you said, you're a man of justice. You wanted to lay down a little justice.
Only in my head. I'm a man of justice. Like I bitch about it. I don't do anything about it.
Well, you gotta bring it to the real world.
I'm the anti Wyatt Earp. Like
The world is waiting for another superhero.
I'm a big fan of justice, just not carrying it out.
You could be line man.
I just like to snipe under my breath and then come on a podcast once a week and scream at Mike Lisk for an hour and a half.
I mean, the one positive thing that we can say that came out of the pandemic, where all the arrows, I think I boiled it down to one, and it's the arrows and the spots where you're supposed to stand. So it did organize the line a little better, right? I mean, everybody was standing on their spot.
That's true. That's true. Like a little lemonade, Mike Lisk. Look at you.
But they're all gone. The arrows are gone. The standing spots are gone. We're supposed to be getting back to normal, but that's questionable.
And super old people will do it to you if you're at the counter. You used to have it at bodegas all the time. You're at the counter. They'll even if you're about to pay for your shit, super old people will still try to slink up in front of you. Like they'll try to catch the cashier's eye. I'm dying in 8 seconds. Can I buy this soup or whatever? They try to shuffle in. And they give you the old, I'm old, I fought in the war.
Yeah, it's the senior discount. It's the senior privilege. And
I'd rather you just said, hey, young
what are you going to do? Pick a fight with him, Greg? What are you going to do? Pick a fight with an old guy? I mean, I'm there. People see the white hair. It's like, I think I'm getting a little of that senior privilege. I have cars stopping for me where normally they don't give a shit. And it's like you got to wait for
5 years
for people to drive by me, but now they're stopping, where normally, in Jersey, it's like, the cars, you got to wait for the cars. The cars aren't going to stop for you.
Does Jersey have those? I never saw these before I came to DC. Some intersections have pedestrian crossing signs, like drivers are supposed to yield to pedestrians. You ever seen those?
Yeah, actually, there was one in Bayonne, right around the block from me, and it was causing a ruckus.
Yes,
because there was a guy. I don't know if you can find this still online. This was right near the bagel place I went to regularly, and I go to cross the street to the bagel place. I see this guy. He's in a wheelchair, but it doesn't look like a normal wheelchair. It's got like some sort of weird extensions. It's long. He's got his leg up, not down. So he's taking up like 6 feet horizontally. Like he might as well have been on a stretcher. He's stretched out. And I see him, and there's one of these signs in there, yield to pedestrians. And he's just going back and forth, back and forth. And it turns out he was trying to get into an accident. He was literally fishing for some sort of, which is crazy, but that's Bayonne. We had our share. He was fishing for some sort of accident, which is like, what the hell is this? When I saw what he was doing, I'm like, what is this guy? I thought he was suicidal. I'm like, is he trying? Because it looked like he was trying to get hit by a car. And then he would yell at the cars when they would come screeching to a halt. And he would start yelling at them. And I'm looking at him. Well, dude, the cars have to go by on the street too. They're not, but that's what, and they took away the sign for a while because of this guy. They put it back. The sign was coming and going. And there was actually, I saw an article in the paper about this guy. And that apparently he had a history. He did something like this at another town, in another town. So, yeah, no, I mean.
They might have gotten rid of him because now I'm thinking, I don't know if I've seen them in a couple of years. But yeah, I'm like, who trusts these? Like, am I supposed to blindly walk across? Well, he's going to yield to me. No. So I'm just going to stand there and wait anyway, like I would at a normal intersection. I'm not trusting this fucking sign.
Well, that's it. And in Bayonne, I did not trust the drivers at all. So I would just sort of wait for the cars to go by. I wasn't tempting fate like this guy in his souped up wheelchair.
Why did we
Bizarre.
start talking about
I don't
pedestrian
know.
use?
Pedestrian sign.
I was talking about cookies.
Let's try and get back to food. I've got a new category for us.
Ooh.
Food in movies. I know you don't watch movies, but you're welcome to.
Well, I don't have a policy. I mean, I just happen to watch more TV.
But you're welcome to bring up subjects. Food in TV, food in we do food in the news, but food in the movies. I've been watching a couple movies. Criterion has a they do these little groupings of movies. It was car movies of the 70s, and they had Duel. They had Duel in there. You ever see Duel?
I like
Steven Spielberg. Yeah,
I like Duel. Yeah.
Great movie.
I like it when they get to that place and it somehow like 100 rattlesnakes are dumped out.
Yeah, that scene's a little over the top.
I would rather you get chased off a cliff by a tractor trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it was they kept having to up the ante with the crazy truck driver. What's he going to do next?
But and it was amazing how they keep your attention for an hour and a half with like basically one guy. That guy, yeah, Dennis Weaver. All right,
and it's been so long since I've seen it, and I'm like, I'm seeing the cast in the beginning of the movie. I'm like, where did all these people come from? My memory was just Dennis Weaver the whole movie.
Who else was in it? Yeah, I don't remember anyone else either. I mean, it was a made-for-TV movie.
It was, yeah, and but there's a scene where he stops at a cafe,
right?
And he had just slammed into a fence. He got driven off the road by the truck that's menacing him.
Mm-hmm.
And he slams into a fence, and he's near this cafe. So he's like, maybe I should relax, let this truck go for a while.
I can picture the cafe.
I'll get back on the road. So he goes in there. Now you've just almost lost your life. What are you going to order? Well, you might want to order something. I would think. You'd order something, nice, like a burger or something. What does he order? He orders a Swiss cheese sandwich.
That's right.
Swiss cheese.
That does. Now that I hear it, yeah.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that's odd.
Have you ever had? When's the last time you had a cheese sandwich? Have you ever had one?
Well, I wouldn't mind a cheese sandwich. I love cheese.
Well, grilled cheese. There's grilled cheese, right?
If
you're gonna do a cheese sandwich, make it a grilled cheese, right?
But I don't like Swiss cheese.
Uh-huh.
And other than that instance, I've never heard of anybody saying I'd like a Swiss cheese sandwich.
Yeah, no mustard even. I mean, I'd put mustard on it. If that's all I have is Swiss cheese, I'll put some mustard on it to spice it up.
That's like my 8th favorite sandwich cheese, if that.
Yes.
I probably prefer without it.
So anyway, I just thought that was a weird choice. And then he gets back on the road. No, actually, turns out, that scene is a little, I don't know, it's a little sketchy because the truck eventually pulls up. It's in front of the cafe. So then you build up all this tension. Oh, so one of the guys at the bar must be the truck driver. And then this other guy comes in and he thinks he's the guy. Turns out he's not the guy. So there were only like 4 other people. And,
was anyone else famous in it?
What's it? No, there's no other famous people in it. No.
That's what you meant when you started.
There were a couple character actors I recognize, from TV. But, so there's only a few people. Why don't you just say, hey, whose truck is that outside? He couldn't even bring himself to do that. I mean, he was terrified. I get it, but he did confront this one guy and he slapped the sandwich out of the guy's hand, and it was the wrong guy. Ends up getting a fight with him. So, he wasn't so timid that he couldn't just say, hey, whose truck is out there? And then he'd have some witnesses with him and he could explain the situation. But
Steven Spielberg, line 1. let me ask you something. What if Uber had been around back then? And he's Dennis Weaver's. He's like, all right, I think I'm about 4 or 5 minutes ahead of this guy. I'm gonna pull off, duck in here, call an Uber, sneak away. Then he doesn't recognize the car I'm in.
No, the movie couldn't
So you're like, no
exist with
problem.
Uber
The movie was made
because
in the
cell
70s.
phones would ruin the movie. He
I'm
could have
saying
called.
if,
Yeah. But it couldn't
if
work. It wouldn't work. People would be saying,
he
"Well,
calls
what are
Uber,
you running away from the guy? Use your phone. Call the cops."
Mike, I'm trying to make a joke. God damn it. This has been a joke light show. I was gonna say,
All right, go for it.
what if he had Uber and he's like, oh great, I'll just pull off. Uber will be here 3 to 4 minutes. Boom. Pulls out, gets a car, hits Uber, and then boom, 10 minutes. It'll be about 10 minutes. We're looking for a driver. And then he's fuck that. So he drives off the cliff. What do you think?
Dennis Weaver drives off the cliff.
He's frustrated because the new Uber has a new policy of taking like 10 minutes to find a car for you.
Okay, now you're angling for the part. Okay, yeah.
So now,
no, I can see you, the angry Uber user, and yeah, instead of finding a sort of a genius way to get the driver of the truck to drive off the cliff,
yeah. Because in my own experience,
you're just gonna drive off the cliff yourself.
In my own experience, there was one ride where I was fine with Uber. And then the very next ride was a fucking nightmare with this whole, it's going to take about 10 minutes to find a driver. So if the last time he had used an Uber, it had been normal. And then this time when he needs it to save his life, that's when Uber decides, we're going to make you wait 10 minutes unless you want to pay an extra $40. Sorry, Ubers and phones didn't exist back then. So
the other movie I watched where food played a part was the movie Bullet. That was on TCM. You familiar with that movie? Steve McQueen. You're not aware of that car chase? Everybody knows the car chase.
I know that. Yeah.
You do know the car chase in San Francisco.
I've never watched it. I mean, I've seen clips of that, but I don't know.
Yeah, everybody has seen the car chase, but it's a decent movie. At one point, Steve McQueen goes into like a bodega, and he goes to the frozen section. And what does he do? He grabs 6 Swanson TV dinners.
I mean, it was in the 60s.
When's the last time you had a TV dinner?
Ooh, the 60s.
Okay, yeah, right. It's like they were a novelty. I remember when I was young, it was a novelty. We were intrigued by it. You just put it in the oven and
like
you
they
take
were from
it
the
out.
space age.
Yeah, you had that. The dessert was already in there, like the apple, whatever it was. They all had they all had that apple thing.
I don't know if I've had one since before I left for college.
Right. But that's
probably not true, but because now they have the hungry. They have actually that's not true. I've had a Hungry Man once or twice over the last couple of years, and they're pretty good. They're fine.
Are they really? Yeah.
I mean, it's easier to make more high quality stuff today than back then when it was all they could do to get it frozen and then be thrilled to have.
Yeah, no, they have all these services, right? Where they're essentially like TV dinners, Blue Apron and all these other ones.
But even a frozen dinner you'd get at the store, 1,000 times better than like what the ones I remember as a kid with the metal and the or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what these were. I mean, the movie came out, I think, in 70, 71 in there.
Yeah. I think back then the selling point was more like this is the future, and the food was okay for the food to be terrible, whereas now the food has to kind of be okay,
Yeah. But the other weird thing about that movie is the Steve McQueen is wearing a what looks like a London Fog rain jacket throughout most of the movie. And I was like, after that movie came out, did London Fog raincoats become cool?
Are you trying to piss me off now?
No, just throwing it out
London
there.
Fog.
You're a London Fog guy?
I've never in my life bought a piece of clothing, much less a jacket. I was more excited about 5 years ago when I bought a London Fog coat. Not only that,
raincoat.
Yeah, like the classic.
Beige.
Oh,
Wh-
dark blue.
Oh, dark blue. Steve
Whatever the
McQueen's
classic
wearing like the beige. To me, the beige is the classic.
beige.
Yeah.
I don't know the beige.
Yeah.
Uh, so I was so excited. Plus, it was like 70% off, and that
Mhm.
was a surprise.
Yeah.
Happy surprise. I got to wear it like once. Global warming instantly set in. Then pandemic, so it's in
Uh-huh.
storage. I haven't seen the thing in 5 years. My
You gotta
my
go to your
favorite article of
storage.
clothing I bought since I was a kid, and
Uh-huh.
it's like locked away in a closet for the last 5 years.
Yeah. I never bought one. I sort of inherited one from my father when I started wearing jackets and ties to work every day, and
Mhm.
you'd need something when it rained. So there was just one hanging loose in the his closet. I sort of hijacked it.
We're talking about the same thing because
It's what you wear over because you need something like a raincoat. I'm talking about a raincoat.
I don't know
London
if we,
Fog is,
I don't know if,
one
yeah.
of the makers of the raincoats. So you're talking about just like a top coat?
Well, when I think of a raincoat, I think of a more plastic thing.
No, there's you know, yeah, they're not plastic. They're just like I said, the classic was like beige. I had a beige one,
All right,
but I guess you can get all different colors.
I'll post a picture of what I of mine.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, I thought you'd pull that out just to mess with me because I'm already upset about the Uber and the lines.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what else? I'm sorry. We'll get back to food and the movies.
Uh-huh.
Blew my mind. Now we have a lot to love about Tom Sharpling.
Hmm.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Uh,
I
as am
noticed,
I. As am
huh?
I. As am I.
Yeah. I'm talking slowly, so if he's listening to this, he'll start thinking, is Greg gonna shit on me? Of course, he's not listening to this. But I don't know how I went down this rabbit hole or whatever, but apparently he helped put together Big Dipper's box set. Um,
Well,
10 years
was it the
ago.
box set or sort of the reunion?
The greatest hits or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, now I'm not a big fan. The one song I know and love is Love Barge,
Hmm.
which is not only to me the best Big Dipper song,
Hmm.
it's one of the best songs of all time. Like it's on
Hmm.
my top 25 list of songs.
Okay.
I'm going through this list, see where it is. It's not on there.
Hmm.
How does he put together a best of or whatever and leaves
Hmm.
off Love Barge?
Well, I don't know the details of this particular is a box set you're saying? How many CDs?
There's like 3 or 4 CDs. There's like 50 songs or whatever.
See, I don't remember that he was involved so much in that as he was involved with trying to encourage a reunion.
Can I still blame him?
No, I don't think you can. You
It
better you
seemed like
better
he had a lot to do with choosing the songs. Well, I
All
don't know.
right.
To
Well,
me,
I may
it's
be
like
wrong. I may be wrong. We
it's
can
like
look.
doing the best of
Hmm.
I don't know, what's a better example? The best of the replacements and not having Bastards of Young on there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's like, what?
So you got a beef.
I don't want to say beef. I just have a question.
Okay. Well, make sure, confirm the details that Tom was directly involved, and then we can probably arrange a debate. And
I thought you were gonna say a sit down. I'm not
no,
I'm just
it will
asking
be for
questions.
entertainment purposes only.
I'm just asking questions. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
You've
Of
got
all
a
songs.
question.
Wow.
Maybe he can answer it for you. I
Did
think
they
you
do
could.
it on purpose so that it would spark interest
Hmm.
10 years later on a podcast?
Were they on multi-labels? Could it be a label situation where they didn't have the rights to one particular album or something like that?
I didn't memorize the Wikipedia page, Mike, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Just saying you
There
might
could
want
be
to
some nonsense.
might want to research further.
I just find it hard to believe. I mean, sometimes you love songs and you understand why other people don't.
Right.
But with a song like that, you're like, wow, that doesn't make it in the top 50?
Yeah.
You know the song, right?
That could be. No, I'm not. I'm not an authority on Big Dipper. I wasn't like. I'm still not. I don't know their
I'm not
music
an
that well.
authority on Big Dipper.
No, no. I mean,
Uh,
like I said, this was several years ago, and it was a big thing. It was at the old WFMU studio. I remember it was, it was getting into gear, and I'm pretty sure he orchestrated a reunion of the band playing together. But I don't remember the
Here
bit
it is,
about
Super Cluster, the Big Dipper Anthology.
Mm-hmm.
3-disc.
What year?
Merge Records, 2008.
2008. Okay.
The liner notes were written by Tom Sharpling.
Oh, okay. All right. So he was
Oh, so it's
involved.
the
Okay.
liner notes.
Yeah.
All right.
Not exactly the same,
It was still Blame?
No, I don't think so.
All right. All right. Well, how can I get in touch with these guys? Ask them. Fellas.
Maybe you can find them on social media.
Ooh. Young Michael passing out the social media advice. I'm not angry. I mean, I didn't buy it. I'm not a Big Dipper fan as much as I just love that song. I just find it hard to believe it wouldn't make the cut. That's all. I thought Tom might have some insight. That's all.
Well, anyway, this week I wanted to keep it simple. Last week's dish.
Hey, what was the food for Steve McQueen?
It was a TV dinner. So
Oh, right.
yeah. We had our TV dinner discussion. But so this week I wanted to keep it simple. Last week's dish did not go down well. And I made the mistake because it sat almost a week in my refrigerator. I hate to waste food. So I actually ate some last night. I ate the leftovers from last week last night, and it was not a good decision. I did end up throwing up.
Not throwing. I got that right.
Not throwing up.
Leftovers
throwing out.
Last week, and it wasn't a good decision.
Yeah. I thought I was going to throw up, but I made it. I powered through and threw out the rest of it. But I just wanted to keep it light today, so we're having chicken noodle soup. A lot of people may not know you can go to your local Chinese takeout and get some chicken noodle soup, and it's good.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, lots of noodles of mine. I mean, I got the large, and it was a meal.
Yeah.
I guess they use the lo mein noodles because they're long. I had to keep biting it because the noodles were so long. I could have taken up all the noodles in one spoonful.
Maybe it's one noodle.
Maybe.
That'd be great.
It felt like that,
Yeah, mine didn't have that many noodles. It was fine. Yeah, so I was glad you said it this morning because I wasn't feeling good. I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, right now.
Luckily,
we're reaching the point now, I think, where it's becoming more of a challenge, and we sort of know what we want to avoid, and it's just becoming more difficult to come up with different items. But mine had nice chunks of chicken in it, so yeah, it was good. Give it a 7.
Once again, totally different chicken. In mine, it was like shredded.
I think you're right. Yeah, mine was like real white chunks,
super white chunk shred.
Yeah,
really good. That is one lesson we've learned over the last year and whatever. Nobody does more variations on the chicken cuts than the Chinese menu.
Yeah, well, they're not wasting any. I'm assuming. Every piece of the chicken will be used in one dish or another.
They take such pride in the selection of the chicken part for each separate dish, but in the end, they just dump a pile of goop all over it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine. I was kind of relieved to just eat that.
Yeah, it makes
it a lot more.
I mean, if your usual soup is wonton, and I would say I'm one of those people.
Yeah,
it makes it for a nice variation,
Yeah, I agree.
Chicken with rice was the other option. Should we do a separate show on chicken with rice?
I like chicken with rice.
Is that cheating? I mean, it is a good option. But
we're heading into the winter months.
Yeah, we'll save it for a future show.
We'll do it next week. I don't care.
Yeah, okay. But yeah. don't skip the chicken noodle soup. It may be the thing you want at the time, and in this case, I needed a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even I mean, you want to give it a score? I mean, it's kind of
I mean, I gave it a 7,
7, yeah. I
Yeah,
give it
it's
7-1.
soup,
I give it a
It's-
7-1 in case somebody hears this and gets pissed at you for the lower score and comes after you. I can be like, hey buddy, I gave the higher score.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
You get a cookie?
Nope.
No.
I do have an old one in my desk.
Check this out. Usually I take take the fortune out, and I leave I don't eat the cookie immediately. Look what happened to last week's cookie. It just flattened out. It opened up like a flower.
Huh. I've never seen that.
It's bizarre, right?
That is weird. You didn't eat it, did you?
No, I'm not going to eat it. I just wanted to show the listeners. And
All right, when you be showing the watchers?
the watchers.
Let's see that fortune.
Here's the fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier.
Luckily,
Now,
you are
yeah,
nothing if
I
not
thought
a
I
force
read
of
that wrong. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. What the hell do they mean by force?
Huh.
Another curious fortune that doesn't make much sense. I think we're into the era of AI fortunes.
I think that's being insulting to AI.
I don't have much.
They would come up with better
Has
fortunes.
AI earned your respect? You're automatically
I would think they
respectful
would
of
come up
AI?
with. I think that if you had the machinery of artificial intelligence behind it, they could come up with some better fortunes than we've been reading.
Yeah. But I think these weird, nonsensical fortunes could be the product of AI because nobody human is reading them to question. I mean, all the words are okay, but do they make sense as a sentence? I don't think so.
You sound like James Joyce when his friend came home and said, "James, why are you so upset?" And he said, "What is it?" He said, "I've written 12 words today." And then the guy was like, "James, for you, that's great." And he said, "Yeah, but I don't know what order to put them in." Let's give a little shout out to friend of the show, Jeremy, who posted that picture of his fortune cookie. He said, "My wife opened the fortune cookie with nothing inside. I opened this one, and it says, did you see it? You saw it, right?"
I don't think I saw that. No.
It says, the fortune says, "You love Chinese food."
Oh, okay. No, I did see that now that you say it. Okay. Yeah, I did see that.
Great. Like
Yeah.
that at least is funny. Like,
yeah.
that at least is funny.
Yeah, that one is funny.
Why don't we?
There isn't a lot of humor in these cookies.
Then why don't we become the fortune cookie funny guys?
That's a great idea.
But then again, wouldn't that already exist?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
If any of our listeners know how we can work up a couple of prototypes, fortune cookies and fortunes, we'll write some funny ones.
Okay. Well, let's write
By
some.
funny, I mean ones like you're going to die in 6 minutes.
Let's write a few and see how they go over. And
all right, we're each going to write 3 fortunes.
Yeah. Okay. 3 fortunes for next week.
We came up with a year ago. We never did.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We didn't follow through on that idea.
Shame on you.
I think that was in the first episode.
If we're being honest,
it was in a very early episode.
Anyway, that's your fault.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening. The subscribers numbers are starting to climb. I appreciate we've gotten some more financial support. I appreciate that. And maybe one day I'll pay Greg his cut.
Boy, when I open those books,
it is going right back into the business. Zoom does charge me for this, and
hopefully they won't pull an Uber and be like, "Oh,
we have to pay the piper."
Trouble connecting. I hate for you to have to pay another $1,000.
So anyway, thanks for listening.
Quick shout out before we go.
Okay.
Congratulations to our friends Ope and Mark Holling, aka favorite player, on their induction to the Williamsburg Softball League Hall of
Yeah.
Fame this weekend.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I saw
I don't
some
know
of
why
the
I'm saying
photos.
this. I'm only saying this here because eventually, when I die, maybe they'll come back and listen to some of these. There's no way they're hearing this, but very proud, huh? What do you think?
No, I find it hard to take it seriously. You know, it's like when you told me it, I'm like, do they have a building? Is there going to be a building? Is it like a corner in the turkey's nest?
Nobody's
I
asking you
mean,
to take it seriously, but
how official is it? But I saw
it's official.
some photos.
I think you got jackets.
I'm glad they were recognized. I mean,
That's
how
right.
long has our team been kaput?
A couple of years.
Oh, it's only a couple years.
Well, I think it went on a couple.
It
I
limped
don't know.
along.
I lost track after
It's been a while, right?
it switched from reel to reel to duck or something, and then I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But congrats to Ope and favorite player for being inducted. Well done.
Okay.
I'm not in the Hall. Are you in the Hall of Fame?
No, I'm not in a Hall of Fame,
Not in the Hall
but
of Fame.
I don't know. A men's softball, not well, it wasn't just men, it was unisex softball league.
Maybe with enough of a push for the 20-year anniversary of his Cy Young Award, we can get Mike Lisk in that Hall of Fame. How about that?
It's so long ago. I'm like, why? You know, it was fun while it lasted. Haven't thought about it in a while. Wouldn't really enjoy the schlep back to Williamsburg
For one weekend to talk about how great you are.
for
Come
one
on.
weekend. The parking.
But yeah,
Anyway.
Thanks. Do all the things Mike said down below, everybody.
Yeah.
Like you didn't do your pointing thing. Everybody
hit these support the bell. Thank you. The likes.
What's the feedback on how much the country is loving us?
It's the numbers are good. They're continuing to climb.
Nice.
All right, well, I did my first.
Everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Hopefully, Uber will be shut down.